out of here.
Thank you.
All right, sorry very much. Thank you for your patience, and let's give this another shot. All right, so this time, let's try one more time. Can I please get the live feed? Hello, Diana. Okay, except for your avatar froze again. No, that was working perfectly. Can you just walk off and back on, please? I know. This is like a Laurel and Hardy skit at this point. It's a recording? No. And can you please restart the application? So of course I can't wait to show you my diagram and go through every single system that just crashed in the last 10 minutes. You'll be amazed. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and restart that application. So the screen should go blank, so just escape out of it and then F5. Hey, there we go. All right. Woohoo! Excellent. All right, so let's start over. So what I'm trying to do today, finally, is to give you a demonstration of an example prototype of a form of remote learning or distance education. And so what that means is that we are using very high-resolution spatial media and temporal media, such as 4K 60p video, augmented with other types of informative layers. So in this case, we're using the NTT overlay system, the same thing that Daisuke Shirai-san showed earlier for RemoteCop, the same system, software API, that is streaming live 4K 60p video and a motion capture avatar. And we're also doing an HD overlay, and we'll do some other kind of informative overlays and special effects throughout. But the basic idea is, creating this kind of shared space. So first of all, let me introduce our friend here. This is Diana Wu. Hello, Diana.
Hello, Todd.
Thank you for being patient with us.
No. Thank you for what you just did.
So Diana is the director of Naruwan Taiko, and she is going to provide us with a lesson today of teaching how to use, this prototype uses taiko, the Japanese art form of drumming called taiko. And she's going to teach us a very specific way. First, before we do that, I'd like to maybe just show you the technology diagram that's supporting this. So Hector, if you don't mind, please bringing up my diagram. And Diana, you may need to step to your left a foot. Thank you. So we've got our virtual Diana here, virtual Vanna, who's going to help walk us through this diagram. And so that's okay. Yeah, so what we have is a 4K camera. Now, for this example, we're using streaming technologies that are commercially available, like the NTT codec. This can be from anywhere in the world. So for example, it could be from Japan. So since Taiko comes from Japan, there actually are quite a lot of Taiko masters. Diana, actually, sorry, step to your right, just a hair, your head's being decapitated. There you go, thanks. So we've talked about this past. I mean, with this sort of technology, who would you kind of like to connect with?
Well, in Japan, there's a ensemble group called Kodo. They're basically the superstars of Taiko, and if there's any way we're able to connect with them, we would just be absolutely stoked.
Yeah, great. All right, so this technology comes from Japan, primarily what we're using today. So we're hoping that that could be an ultimate outcome of this prototype. So like I said, ideally we're going to fictionalize the scenario, saying that for today Diana is in Japan, and we are in the U.S. So we're streaming from Japan to the U.S. for this. But really, Diana is actually next door in the theater in Vroom. And actually, maybe. You can, well, we'll go through the slide and then you can show us the room space. But we have a loaner Sony 4K camera today. We're using the F55. That is one of the Sony cameras that provides us with live 60p output. And we're using that with these converters. And so this was the first thing to break today. So that was the first 10 minutes of the problem, was that those kept on going down. So we had to repower those. Those are going then, taking that 3G signal, going into 8 HDSDIs into the JPEG 2000 codec, which is encoding and streaming it over the network to another JPEG 2000 codec in the control room here. I should say for this demonstration, we're getting very good connectivity between Japan and the US. It's actually less than 1 millisecond. So I'm pretty sure that's the speed of light. So it's actually very, very high performance, real-time application we're showing. And so then coming out of the codec, we've got another 4 of the converters going into the NTT overlay system. So this is a Windows PC that we're using running open frameworks with the NTT overlay API. We are also streaming the motion capture data. So I have a Vicon system, mainly MX cameras in the theater. And we're streaming that motion capture data of Diana. And Diana, wave, give us an example of how well that mocap is working. So we're getting, it's recording actually at 120 hertz. And we're streaming that back and playing it back at 60 frames per second. And so that is then being also overlaid as you see here. And then finally, we're showing this HD overlay. So this is kind of a picture-in-picture example. So it will make more sense when we have a student on the stage, and so you can also see the student with the teacher. And also for recording's sake, it's nice to have that. And then, of course, we're doing a whole lot of audio embedding and de-embedding. And we're showing in the theater, we're using Sage. Unfortunately, Sage was also one of the things that kept crashing on us. Number 2 problem that we were having. We had to restart it about 5 times. So I think it was something with sending so many things we were doing, sending the stream from here back and sending the Q share of the mocap and sending another VNC session. So I think we just kind of might have overwhelmed it a little bit, even though, of course, it worked perfectly well in all our rehearsals. And then, of course, on this side, we are taking that overlay system. Then we're going into a 3rd JPEG 2000 codec, which you can see here. That's right. Thank you, Diana. You do a Vanna move. Yeah, you could just point over to us. And so then that's de-embedding the audio after that, and then going to the projector finally. So that's the basic system. So Hector, you can take down the slide. Thank you. So without much further ado, I just wanted to mention why the motion capture might be interesting specifically for this demonstration. As you can see, I think Diana will talk about it a little bit more, but the motion capture really highlights the gestural form, especially that is so necessary in most performing arts. So this example could have also been for theater or dance or a whole lot of other things. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. No comments from the peanut gallery, please. And so, yeah, it could be, it's not 100% perfect. We're still working out the issues, like the bocce, but, it's getting there. So, all right, without further ado, I would like you to please welcome our student today, who's going to be learning this new form of Taiko. This is Nick Vu. So, Nick, please come on the stage. Oh, sorry. There is one other thing that I forgot to mention. We do have a display here, and I highly recommend all the people sitting in the middle. You've got horrible seats. You're blocked from the 4K view. So if the people in the back and the middle, you should probably move because you're totally blocked. But anyways, we have a screen there. Normally, you wouldn't do this. We just added this for this system so that Devin isn't facing his back towards the audience the whole time. Normally, Devin would be facing this way, but we gave him a preview monitor with the same thing that we're seeing on screen down there. Okay, so thank you very much. And Devin, Diana, take it away.
You got it. Well, I have to admit, after just seeing your slide and hearing what you said, I'm really glad that all I'm doing today is hitting a drum, because that is some very impressive stuff you got there. All right, so my name is Diana. I am the founder and director for Naruwan Taiko. We're a San Diego-based Taiko group here. And our organization is using the art of Taiko to connect people of all sorts of backgrounds, just to come under one roof and just play music together. And therefore, this idea that we can connect people outside of San Diego and even outside of the country is very amazing to us. And we're very honored to be here today to demonstrate and share this technology with you. And so today, the subject matter that we're going to use in our pretend teaching scenario is the Okedaiko, and that is the drum that I'm carrying, and Nick has one down there too. The Okedaiko is a taiko. It's a bit different from the familiar Chudaiko, which is the drums that are usually on the ground and they just stay there. They're not carried, and therefore the hitting technique for those drums tend to be more intuitive. The Okedaiko, because it's carried, is not as obvious, and we feel that this is a great technique that can show just what benefits can come out of the technology that's being demonstrated today. So that's what we're going to do. So again, when I reference the okedo, that would be the instrument, and when I mention bachi, that will be the taiko sticks that we use to hit the drums. All right, Nick, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, I can't quite hear you, but I can tell you are very excited. Okay, so. All right, great. Why don't you pick up your drum then? Go ahead. We'll get started with your stance. Okay, Nick. So, very first thing with your stance, you want to make sure your toe, oh, hold on.
Mic was muted. Just give an audio check.
Hello, hello.
Hello? Hello?
Let me check and see if it's muted.
You good there, boy?
Yep, I am ready.
Okay. I still can't quite hear you, but it's all good. No worries. All right, here we go. So, very first thing is your stance. So, you want to direct your energy toward the audience. So, therefore, you're going to take your right foot, point towards the audience. Okay? So, you can basically lean forward, push yourself back, putting that energy in the drum and into the audience. All right, the next thing then is your left foot. You want to make it perpendicular to your right, to give you that base so that you don't fall over, and also to be able to propel yourself forward. Okay? So if it's not clear on me, you can see on the avatar, right foot pointed forward, left foot perpendicular to the right. Okay? Great. So, the most important mechanism in Okedaiko hitting is the rotation of your arm. So you're familiar with Chudaiko, right, Nick?
Yes, I am.
Right? And how do we hit with Chudaiko? We tend to bend our arm and hit the drum. Right? Now that makes sense when the drum is in front of you, like so. But when the drum is on your side, you can't get as much power. So the mechanism you're going to focus on for Okedaiko is the rotation of your arm. Okay? So without the bachi in your hand, you can see in the avatar, my arm is rotating.
Okay.
As if I'm opening a doorknob that's on the ground. Okay? So let me see that. Perfect. Alright? Terrific. So let's put the bachi in your hand. Now you want to make sure then that your arm is relaxed. Alright? When we say we want a straight arm, we don't mean that, we don't want you to lock your arm. Right? You don't want to hyperextend. You don't want to make it this super straight line. You want it to just relax. When the arm is relaxed, there is a slight bend in the elbow. Okay? So just relax. Are you nervous, Nick? Is that why you're so tense? Just relax, boy. All right, relax, okay? Your bachi is going to be at a right angle with your arm. Good. Okay, and the reason why we want that is because when you rotate, your bachi is going to come out and then come right back to the drum. Okay, if your bachi is at any other angle and you try to rotate your arm, you see you're not even hitting the center. Okay, so you want to maintain that right angle.
Okay.
And it's really clear on the avatar, you can see it's a straight arm, straight bachi. Okay, so let's do that. So right now, just rotate your arm out. Okay, you don't have to pull your arm, just rotate, and then pull it back. Very good. Rotate out. Great. Now I see on your wrist, now this is a very tricky part. It's not very clear to most people, but when you hit the drum, you don't want your knuckles bending down. Okay, you want your knuckles up.
Okay.
Right? Because when you do it this way, you don't get as much power. But if you have your knuckles up, you can put a lot more force into that drum. And it's very clear, just like seeing in the avatar, up. I'm sorry, this is up knuckle. I'm sorry, down, and then up. Alright, so make sure, let's try it again. You're going to rotate out. And when you strike the drum, keep those knuckles up. Very good. Rotate out. Very good. Okay. Very nice. Now for a very large hit, the same thing. Now you're going to lift your arm up, okay? But you're not going to bend it, right? You see that's if you lift it up, don't bend your arm. You're just going to lift rotate at the very top, and then pull your arm back and also rotate that arm. Very good. One more time. Pull, point up, and then rotate. Just twist it back. Now see, I can see right now that you're right here, you're starting to bend. Okay? So pull it up, and then rotate it. Okay? All right, let's move on to the left, and then we'll fix your right in a bit. Not giving up on you, just let's move on with the left hip. Okay, so with your left, same thing. First of all, your arm needs to be relaxed. So without your bachi, have your arm just sitting on your drum. You don't want it bent, and you don't want it locked. You just want it relaxed, sitting on that drum. Take your bachi stick, put it in your hand, have it point straight down. And then find the center of that drum. And you see the arm still maintaining this relaxed, not locked straight, and not too bent, just nice with that slight micro bend. Okay? Then lift up. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. The most important part of this hit is going to be your wrist. Okay? So without the bachi, if you just look at my hand, you see that it flicks up. Oh. Or it can have a mind on its own and do other things. It flicks up, and then down, right? Up. Bad hand, come on. Up, and then down. That's going to be what powers this hit. Right? So if you have your bachi in your hand, okay, I want you to just flick it up, and then pull it down. Flick up, and then down. Flick up, and down. Good. Now to make a more powerful strike, keep you with your arm, lift it up, at the whoa, I have two bachi in a hand, that's cool. Shake it out. All right, pull up, at the very top of your hit, flick it up, and then just pull down. Okay? Again, so lift up, push, and then just and make sure you get that snap in the end. Great. So let's do this. I'm going to play you a straight beat.
Okay.
And you're going to play right, left, right, left, right, left.
Sounds good.
Okay? All right, here we go. Come like that. Ich, ni, so, re. Okay, let's do this. Maybe let's do a recording of myself, okay? And then we'll slow it down in a bit and have you watch my arms, okay? So let's do this. Can we get a recording started, please? All right, here we go. 1 second here. Okay, here we go.
Okay, that's enough recording.
Okay, all right, stop that recording. I should have stopped it 1 second in there. That's cool. It's all good. All right. So as they get that recording ready, what I want you to focus on, Nick, is the arms. Okay, because earlier you still had a bend.
Okay.
And you want to keep them fairly straight as it's going up and down.
Okay.
And up and down. So let's see. Once the recording is up, we'll get started on that. I think there was another thing to mention though. I think it was. Oh yes, I do remember now. It's your expression, Nick. You look so frightened right now. Now the best part about Tele-Taiko, you know, is being expressive. All right. So make sure that you smile when you're playing. All right. So I think here we go. Here's the recording. That's great. And maybe we could slow it down completely. Right, you see, okay, so you see how the arms is, well, there goes the ball. All right, you see the arms goes up, it's fairly straight and only bends as it's coming down. And my right arm hardly ever bends, because the power is coming from the twist, the rotation of the arm. Okay? All right. Is that clear, Nick? Any questions so far?
No, no questions.
No, everything's good. All right. So finally, the last thing to finish off today is when you play with the drum on your thigh and you just want a nice big, hold on. Okay. Don't. Okay? So before you hit, go ahead, space your body toward the audience, get a nice wide stance. All right, and without your butcher in your hand, just pretend you're flying. Right? Just relax good. Right? And that's, I know it feels silly, or you're just flying away right now, but that's the motion that you're going to do to hit that drum, right? You don't want this small hit. You want up and then out.
Okay.
And you can see in the avatar, arms are straight up, and then your whole body just comes down. All right? Let me see you do that. Up. Up. Oh, where's your bocce on your left hand? I can see you, don't forget. Up. In 4K, man. Come on, up. Great, okay. Any questions today, Nick?
No questions so far. But
No questions so far. Okay, because we're going to have to reconvene another day since time is running up. But you're doing great for now. We'll work on it another day. Why don't we bow out? Okay?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I got over my shot.
Good job. All right, so I wanted to thank Diana and thank Nick very much for that lovely lesson. And now I'm going to ask you, we're going to switch over to the finale performance. It is going to take us, hopefully, much, much less time for this transition than the previous transition. But we do need a few minutes. Ideally, we'd like it alone in the auditorium so that you're really surprised when people come back. So take a coffee break, use the bathroom, go do some business, and come back in about 5-10 minutes. We'll let you know.